What's up, ladies? Had a little bit of extra time, so I thought I'd kind of just go over a couple projects I'm working on. It's Sunday, so this is a 1985 Yamaha Tri-Z 250. Complete rebuild I'm working on, man. It's definitely taking me a little bit longer than I had wanted, but I had taken my time with it. I know the green, a lot of people think it looks like the Takate, but it's actually the Yamaha Tri-Z 250. Just about done with it. Not really a whole lot for me to really do with it. A couple of things I've already done is took off the headlight and stuff, put the nice little racing grill up there, new plastic fender. The other one was just had beyond repair. Like I tried to sew it all up, but it was just beyond repair. Rebuilt the front forks, new seals, new everything, new boots. Added the these are actually 20 by 11 wheels and tire combo. Pretty nice. I think these are STI wheels. These are shredder tires, 20 by 11s. Nice grip for the type of trail riding that I do. It's pretty aggressive, you know, steep cliffs, steep climbs, and everything. So I need stuff with a lot of traction. So these 20 by 11s are awesome. One of the things you have to do is these are actually Yamaha Banshee hubs that I put on here because the Banshee hubs were bigger and allowed me to put the 20 by 11s. These stock hubs are small. I think I still have them. Oh yeah, here it is. This is actually the hub that came with the Tri-Z. It's a little bit smaller. The maximum size you could put on this bolt pattern, I believe, was a 9-inch. So that's why I upgraded to the Yamaha Banshee hubs, which came out pretty good. Had those painted as well. So what else? Grab bar I added. Rebuilt the real shock. Had everything, all the seals and stuff redone. Swing arm. New sprocket. I think this one's a 44 tooth. If you guys aren't familiar with the Tri-Z, one of the things that's kind of cool about it is the tank is actually mounted underneath the rear subframe. Kind of weird. You think it would really hurt your climbing ability, but it's actually not that bad. The extra weight of the fuel tank doesn't really have the front end pop up as much as you think it would. As long as you're smart about it, you know what you're doing, you'll have no problem climbing the same hills you do on like a 250R, which I've had a couple of 250Rs, and to me, I don't really understand why the Tri-Z was you know, not really as well popular as a 250R or the Takate. I've had both. I've never had a Takate, but I've had a couple of 250Rs, and this is my second Tri-Z. And let me tell you, the suspension on this thing, the way it's set up, to me it was a lot better than a 250R. You have the longer forks, the heavier duty rear shock. Suspension on this thing is phenomenal. That's one of the reasons why I love it. I mean, look at that. The thing just floats. Really like the suspension on this. The older I get, the more I am a steering suspension guy than a motor guy. Of course, when I was a young whippersnapper, everyone always puts stuff in the motor and does all that. But the older you get, the wiser you get, you realize that if you have your suspension set up right, you can ride faster and longer than most people. So got the radiators mounted up, all the electrical. I had the cylinder bored out, I believe .051 over, which I think it's on its second over. New cylinder put in, so I can't wait to get this thing fired up. New plugs. I actually added a spacer here. What the spacer would do was actually add a little bit of bottom end. It's actually just a torque spacer, but it adds some bottom end for the bike. So it's a pretty cheap mod, but you get some tons of results out of it. This is the rear reservoir. I just put cut up a monster can. I just put some JB weld over it. Kind of adds a little bit of character to it. What else? The frame. I just had a buddy owns a shop, and I just had him paint it up for me. We did the frame. We did the swing arm. The rear axle, front forks, outer forks actually, and came out pretty good. It's not powder coated, but for what he charged me to just do the frame painting, I was pretty pleased with it. So can't wait to get this thing done. I'm probably about a week away from just mounting everything up and being done with it. So can't wait to fire this thing up for the first time. The clutch installed. Hard stuff is done. Just gotta take my time and finish this thing. That's why I'm kind of working on it today. One of the things that was cool about the Tri-Z is actually inside the carrier. There is no carrier inside of a carrier. You know, the Honda has you have your housing, you have your inside carrier, and your axle slides in between that. It's a pretty simple design. All you do is you just have some bearings in here. The actual axle slides right inside there, seals it up on each side, and that's it. So it's a pretty simple design. When I pulled the axle out, didn't have any problems. Seals up great, so I just basically bought some new bearings, re-greased everything up, and slapped it back in there. So it came out pretty good. When I show you the 350X, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is actually pretty cool design. Yeah, great suspension. The only problem I had in the build is that when I went to take off the rear swing arm, I mean, this thing was, what, 30 years old, 28 years old. I don't think it had ever been taken apart. So the actual nut or the bolt that runs across the whole motor had actually seized up inside of here. So I actually had to take a welding torch and cut this damn thing off. This is actually a new swing arm that I ordered on eBay because the one I had to completely cut it off, including the bolt itself, in order to dismount the motor and everything. So actually, I think I still have it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So I had to cut the whole damn thing off, see, to get it off. So it had seized up inside of there. There's the bearings and stuff I had to replace, but not too bad. A couple of things I got to put on. The fuel pump I got to put on, clean this thing up pretty good. So little booster bottle. It's a carburetor. Brand new exhaust I bought. This is a DG exhaust. It's gonna go on the Tri-Z. Pretty excited to put this thing on, hear how it sounds. So can't wait to get these things on. Here's a little tip. I use silicone on all of my exhaust connections. What that does, if you're familiar with the two strokes, everyone knows the spuge that just spews out is just crazy, and it makes the bike really dirty pretty fast. It's pretty hard to clean up. But if you put silicone in there, make sure you measure it right, put silicone over it, put this in there, put a clamp on there, you'll never have the spuge coming out. So a little trick I picked up over time. Let's see, what else? This is 1985 Honda 350X. Wow, I'm going through a lot of rebuild stuff on this one. What I'm doing now is this is a gusset kit, because on this build, what I'm doing is I'm extending the swing arm 4 inches. I'm also inverting the front forks, or converting the front forks from typical or conventional front forks to an inverted. So when you do that, it's kind of highly recommended you gusset the frame. So this is actually a gusset kit. That's what I'm going to do. My neighbor's a welder, so he's going to come over, weld this thing up for me, and then I'm going to send it off to get powder coated. So here's the gusset kits. So add some nice reinforcement to the frame. So I can't wait to get that off to powder coating here soon, probably next couple of weeks, maybe about a week or so. I'll have to do a complete walkthrough on this thing when it's done, because there's a lot going on with that. Excuse the mess. Oh, also, the crank, right before I was doing the rebuild, I took it on one, I'm just going to do one final ride before I tear it down and do the build. On my last freaking ride, I got stuck on a trail because 2 of the teeth broke on my crank. So I had to get towed back. It was a pain in the butt. Took the whole motor apart, split the cases. Everything was split apart, and then realized that damn, 2 of the teeth broke on the crank. So here's a new one that I bought. Thing's perfect. Trued and everything. Nice seals. So I might put this on eBay because the only thing that's really wrong with this is the teeth. So I might sell this for pretty cheap. Somebody can get some use out of it, I'm sure. Let's see what else. A couple of parts for the Honda 350X I'm doing. I'm taking my time, kind of doing a whole bolt kit. I went ahead and bought the bolt kit, so every nut and bolt on the Honda is going to be brand new stainless steel bolts. So again, these clamps I was telling you about, it's kind of what they look like. Put the silicone, here's kind of what it looks like. I think this is the one I'd cut up, but you take the silicone, you cut it up, put it over the exhaust, put a clamp on it, and you'll never have a spewing out that connection point again. So real handy. Oh, also another tip, friction tape. This is kind of cool for handlebars and grips. What I mean by that is that this old school guy taught me this a while ago. You take the friction tape, and what you do is you wrap your handlebar in the tape, just one single roll all the way through to the end. And then you take some gasoline on a rag, you rub the friction tape, and then you pour a little bit of gasoline inside your grip, slide your grip on, and it makes an awesome seal for your grip. You never, over time, you know how it rains or something, and the grip starts sliding all over the place. It will never ever slide again. So it comes out real handy. But use friction tape as opposed to that glue or whatever crap that they give you for grips, and a little bit of gasoline, and it'll create a perfect seal for it. A couple parts for the 350X build. Carrier I was telling you about, pretty nice one. This is one that's going to go into my new extended swing arm, chain guard. I'm adding fork. That's nothing. New clutch I'm putting on. These are new fork seals for the KTM forks I'm putting on the 350X. New shifter. 42th rear sprocket for the 350X. Bearings, front drive sprocket. Here's the new carb that I'm putting on the 350X. Brand new, never mounted, so can't wait to put that thing on. The motor's actually in this box. Had the 350X board over, as well as some other engine work to the motor itself. Probably the coolest thing on the 350X is going to be the KTM inverted forks that I'm putting on. I sent the tubes, these are the outer fork tubes, to get a hard anodized black. Just kind of add some nice character to the bike. They shipped them back to me about a week ago. Came back pretty good. So the outer fork tube will be hard anodized black. Inner forks, springs. So I did a little research, and one of the things I was concerned about when I do the conversion kit for the forks is the spring rate. The actual forks are off of a 2004 KTM 85. If you do the KTM 85 forks on the Honda 350X or the Honda 250R, you don't need to cut the forks, meaning the forks will mount up perfectly to the steering stem, and you don't need to cut the forks. If you use, I know a lot of people use the Honda 500 inverted forks. Sometimes you have to cut those because they're too long to get those to mount up correctly on the 350X or the 250R steering stems, because they'll just be too long. Your front end will sit a little too high. So the 85, I'm not the 85, but the KTM 85 2000, I think 2001 to 2006 forks fit up perfectly to the 350X or the 250R all years. But anyway, what I was talking about, the spring rate was kind of, the springs I felt were going to be a little too light for my weight and the type of riding that I do. So I called Factory Connection, told them what I was doing, and they sent me some heavier duty spring race than the stock spring race that have come on there. I don't have the actual size of these. I'll probably have them in my notes somewhere, but these guys were awesome. They said, oh yeah, you need the heavier rates, and they hooked me right up. I think these were only about $80. Next thing you need for the build is, you get a kick out of this. This is the actual new triple trees. The other set is inside there. They're gonna mount up to the 350X. So that's gonna mount on the bottom of the fork tube, or the tube, like steering tube like that. And the forks will mount up through there. Look at the difference. These are the stock. This is the stock Honda 350X lower steering stem, and here's the new built KTM forks for the steering stem. I'm going to for the inverted forks. I mean, look at that. Talk about steering and suspension, improved capabilities. That's pretty awesome. I'm sure everyone knows, if you're on the three-wheeler sites, everybody knows Jason Hall. He's on Three Wheeler World. He actually built these for me. Took a little bit longer than I would like, but you know, good follow-up, and he sent them no problem. So, an expensive mod. To have these triple clamps built for you, pretty expensive, but I know you had a lot of experience in doing them, so they came out pretty good. He actually put the steering stem on there for me, pressed it in there for me, and the other set's inside there, the upper one. A couple of things. I'll go into that build once it's all done, because a couple of things you got to do with the